Hey everyone, so I had a comment on one of my videos asking how are you going to manage from afar. So I want to talk about that today and let you know how I manage from 2.5 hours away for my short-term rental management business. There's really 3 things you need to have to manage from far away. The first is the people, and that is definitely the most important. The second is the systems or software, and the third is the processes. So let's talk about the people first. This is short-term rental management. We need people on the ground. We need our cleaners. We need our handymen. So in this business, I have a great head cleaner that's up there that doubles as operations manager, and I have a handyman up there who runs his side of things. We have other cleaners that are cleaning up there, and what happens is this one cleaner is going to be the person that's going to be checking on all the other cleaners to ensure the job is done well. Like anything else, you're not going to check everything, but you do need to inspect what you expect, so that way we can keep the high standards that we have for the guests coming through. Because you all know as well as I do, if that place is even a little bit dirty, even a speck of dirt in that place, and the guest finds it, they're going to say that the place was really dirty. The second thing is the handyman, right? Things happen. There's wear and tear on these houses, a lot more than a typical house that you live in because there's different people coming through, and there's a lot more guests in these houses than you typically have. My 3-bedroom house sleeps 2 of us. A 3-bedroom house on Airbnb might sleep 8. So that's more wear and tear. So things happen, little things break. You need that person there to go out and do it. We'll talk about how we can easily communicate that when we get to systems, but you got to know that we need the cleaner and the handyman, and we have the operations head cleaner there that's checking things out. The last thing I have that isn't on site is actually off site, all virtual, is we have somebody working with the guest experience. By that I mean they're handling all guest communications. You as the owner cannot be the only one handling all guest communications when you're doing over 30 homes. We need to make sure these are answered quickly and fully, so that way the bookings happen. We have short attention spans right now.
Squirrel!
So if we wait a long time between bookings, they might send me a request asking a question about my Airbnb or one I manage. If you're searching Airbnbs or other things, Amazon, whatever it is, you know that if you look at something, you may find something else if that wasn't bought right away. So what we have to do is make sure we respond to those messages quickly with great detail. So that way they go, oh cool, that works for me, book, rather than they keep looking. So there's an overview of the people in the business that we have up there right now. Remember, people are the most important part, and you do have to have boots on the ground. If you're managing from afar, that doesn't mean your entire business is from afar. Yes, there are models that can do that, but it is helpful to have people there that are watching out for everything for you. Remember, your cleaners, your eyes, and your ears in all of your properties. So make sure they understand the expectations, and make sure you treat them right, because they're going to treat you right if you treat them right, right?
Right.
All right, before we go into some of the softwares I use, do me a favor. I'm at 170 subscribers as we speak right now. I want to get to 1,000 before the end of the year. That means I gotta get to 200 before the end of the quarter. If you have not subscribed and you like my content, even if you don't like my content, if you don't like me, whatever, do me a favor, subscribe and like below. But please don't hate me.
Don't you get it? You gotta use reverse psychology. That sounds too complicated. Okay, don't use reverse psychology. All right, I will.
All right, systems. I talked about guest communication earlier. Guest communication is a big thing, and calendar management is a big thing also. A system called a property management software, or PMS, will handle both these for you. Right now we have OwnerRez, and we're gonna be moving over to Guesty. These will take everything from Vrbo, Airbnb, direct bookings, and filter them into one place for us. So we have a one-stop shop for talking to the guests, whether they're looking to book or they have questions about the property. It also will sync the calendars, which is a huge deal, right? Because if somebody books from Airbnb, I need to block off those dates in Vrbo, so nobody from Vrbo books the same time, because I doubt they'd want to hang out together and both pay for it. So this software does all of that. It also takes the owner's statements and ensures that we can pay the owners the correct amount that they're due. The next thing is Price Labs. I spend a lot of time in Price Labs. This is a dynamic pricing tool that takes the market, looks at it and goes, how busy is it right now? And based on that, they use a supply and demand curve to figure out how much they should charge for each one of them. There is certain criteria I set in here, like last minute, the prices start going down a little bit to make sure we get the bookings. I have minimum booking times, all those type of things. But Price Labs will keep the pricing about right for the market. And what I have to do is weekly, if not more, we go into Price Labs and take a look at how are we booked relative to how much the market is booked. If our percentage of vacancy is higher than the market, then I know there could be a problem with the pricing. And we start playing with the pricing to make sure the pricing works. I also watch Price Labs right now because a lot of these properties are fairly new to me. Every time there's a booking, I actually look at Price Labs and find out what it booked for and how far out it is, how our occupancy is, just to make sure I'm always on top of the pricing, because we need to maximize the pricing for the owners. That's what we're here for, to get them more money at less hassle. We should have all the hassle. The owner should basically be able to get a check at the end of the time, review their owner statement, and say, cool, thank you, get me more money. Pricing is a huge thing, but you also want to make sure you're high on the algorithm for Airbnb so you can get closer to the front and get booked more. So to do that, we use RankBreeze. RankBreeze actually goes through everything and says, this is what rank you are comparative to the market, and actually gives you a chart saying it went up this day, down this day, up this day, down this day, up, 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 up. And how I use that is as I'm making all these little tweaks to the listing itself, to the pricing, I'm watching that to see, did we do anything to drop us? Did we do anything to bring us up? Much like my video on my personal property in Kissimmee, Florida, where we dropped the cleaning fees and the property itself boosted up in the rankings. I am ranked 310. Took out my cleaning fees entirely. Waited overnight. Oh cool, it dropped from 310, about 200, to 150, down to 130. So we test things like that, and RankBreeze is gonna tell us if we did good, or if we did not do good and we need to put it back to the way it was. Finally, we have Breezeway. Breezeway automatically syncs to the property management software, PMS, and tells the cleaners when to go clean. So if you're checking out of your stay, it makes a task within Breezeway that says, hey, this needs to be cleaned. And we have steps within there that each of the cleaners have to take and check off to ensure that the cleaning was done properly. We're even setting up so they have to upload the pictures into there so we can review it if anything happens in the future and say, no, that bed was clean. I have a picture here showing it. Because guests never lie, do they? Breezeway won't only make it so the cleaners get scheduled, it also makes it so all the handyman tasks can be scheduled too through there. So our cleaners will go through the house. If they find something broken, missing, not quite right, they create a task for the handyman. The handyman then goes the next time the trash pickup is there and takes a look at that, and depending on what it is, we'll fix it, or we need to call someone to fix it. But most of the time, the little things we can fix happens all the time. And then we have a house that's cleaned with no issues. Guest comes in, we don't have a door falling off the hinges, we don't have a running toilet, we have all those things fixed for it already. And it's all done through this system. The last thing's processes, right? You wanna make sure you streamline everything in the business. I'm not gonna go through all of our processes right now. I've talked enough about the other sections, but you need to make sure you have a uniform process of how things work. I guess I'll give you one. Here's a process that we have in place right now. Every time a guest question comes into us, we take a look at that and say, how can we prevent that next time? And we log on a spreadsheet that says, this was the question, and this is what I did to prevent it next time. Because we want the guests to have all the communication they need up front, or we want an automated system to make sure that they get the communication they need. Now, this automated system, if you do make automated messages, this is a diatribe for another day, right? Make sure they have some personality to them with the responses, because they need to think they're speaking to a person at all times. This is hospitality. In hospitality, we need to make sure our guests are happy. So I hope you all got some info of an overview of how I manage from a distance. Any questions? Comment down below, and I hope this helped you out. See you later.